they have designed those food in a way that it becomes addictive, right?
So it's not the fact that I'm choosing this. I'm an addict.
You are an addict, and that was by design. Because think about it, it's business. And if you are addicted to the food, then you keep buying it, you keep wanting it. And some of us are strong enough to say, you know what, when you face a health crisis, then you stop. I always used to look at people and be like, man, this guy is fat. Why doesn't he stop eating? Or this person, they know this is bad for them. Why are they eating it? And in the last few years or so, I realized it's not just individual responsibility anymore. It's social responsibility.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. My vibration got too damn high. I got stuck in the clouds. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. My vibration got too high. I got stuck in the clouds.
What's up, highly emotional friends and family? Welcome back to another episode of the Highly Emotional Podcast. If you're looking for light, you're looking for love, you're on a spiritual journey, then this podcast is for you. Today, I brought back a good friend of mine. His name is Shawn Regis. If you didn't tune into our last episode, then you missed out. This is an episode that you don't want to miss out. This is an episode that is in dire need if you are just now starting your spiritual journey. And welcome to the podcast, Brody.
Hey, good to be back, man. I appreciate you inviting me back.
For sure, it's been a great journey. Like since the episode that we did, bro, we've doing numbers on social media, on Instagram, and all platforms, and it's becoming life changing. So I'm grateful that you're back, bro. To be honest,
absolutely. Well, first off, super congratulations. I know, when we started this, it was a trickle, and now all of a sudden, you have a lot of followers. So really good. Congratulations on your success there.
No, thank you. Well, let's dive into it. All right, so let's talk about the level one of the spiritual journey and how, with following the spiritual journey, right? Like, not too much on the spiritual side, but as far as like holistic healing and making sure that, you eat right and whatnot. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, and I think that's something you and I spoke about. But a lot of the times, or rather, it's my opinion, and my mom and a lot of people in who do what I do will tell you, when you're starting a spiritual journey, definitely, I think nutrition is one of the areas where you want to look at first, because it's like, your body houses your spirit, right? And a lot of the times, the way you connect spiritually has to do with what types of foods you put in your body. Like if you consume a lot of alcohol, a lot of sugar, a lot of processed foods, that's going to affect your system. It's going to affect how everything looks. But if you intake in more foods like real foods, like alkaline foods, our good friend, the late Dr. Zebi spoke about this quite a lot. So the foods you put into your body will also impact what type of vibration that you are on, right? And even the foods that you buy in the supermarket, right? If that food was grown indoors versus outside where it got sunshine, it got rain, so it was charged electrically from nature. So that food is more nourishing, not just on the physical level, but also on the metaphysical level versus eating, food that was made in a factory. So, I think that's having good nutrition is a good segue into connecting with your spiritual self.
Yeah, so, I've said this before. Yeah. Like, one of the things, actually, you just put me onto something recently is, I've been, since the last time we talked, I actually started paying attention to those colors.
Yeah.
And I did the test with my kids. That's what I said. One thing about, when it comes to certain things on the spiritual journey, when someone brings it to my attention, I then put it to the test so that I can know that if it works for me or not. Yeah. All right. So
what about the color though? Are you referring to the dyes that they put in food?
Yes. So first of all, I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
This may come off as like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm gonna be honest. A lot of the food that we are eating and putting in our body, if you're not in tune with how this affects you spiritually, I just want you to know, a lot of our food, and I'm gonna say it in the most uncomfortable word, but I'm gonna say that it's poisoning us. It's poisoning your mind state. It's poisoning the way that you react in the matrix, as we call, or the physical plane. But so back to what I was saying. once you started telling me about the colors, I started paying attention. So I stripped Fruit Loops out my house. I stripped Lucky Charms, Tricks, any of those type of cereals. Then I taught my kids about it. Yes. So the first test, before we even brought it to the kids, I was telling my wife, I was like, so Shawn told me about, red dye, yellow dye,
blue dye,
all these different things. And I was like, let's do a test. Let's see what happens when we stop letting our kids do this. So the first week we stripped them off of it. And I'm telling you, bro, their behavior was completely different. My son didn't wake up mad. He was in a better mood. Wow. Even the interaction between him and his sister wasn't as aggressive as it was. Like they would always argue and this and that. And they still, have a little bickering, but it's been, I'm telling you, it's been cut down by 60%, bro. Wow. So then I started looking into, because I had to give this knowledge to my kids, just like you said, what you do with yours, right? So I told my son, I was like, we have to stop eating this red dye, this yellow dye, these blue dyes, all these things, and we have to take notice of it. And he was like, why, Dad? I was like, because it affects your brain. It affects on how you act. And I was like, you may not notice, but we've been observing your behavior and seeing how you act now that we stripped it. So I started showing him all these things that red dye and blue dye and yellow dye was in. But then he was like, okay, can you show me a video? So then I put up this video on YouTube. And they were talking about how red dye and blue dye contributes to ADHD. So a lot of people, and I'm not going to lie, I don't truly believe in ADHD as far as like the medical term, because they'll be like, oh, your kid is too active, he has ADHD. But when I seen how these dyes are affecting my children and affecting me, because it's not only your children, it affects you too. When I started noticing that, I was like, okay, these drugs, that's what I'm going to call them, these drugs, these dyes. These chemicals are messing up our brains. And imagine if, like, for a lot of us adults, we've been indulging in these for 20, 30 years.
Pop-Tarts, cotton candy, all the stuff that, and the food companies know what they're doing. They intentionally make those colors bright to attract kids. But here's what's even more insidious about all this stuff. If they have to, they don't sell the same Fruit Loops in Canada or in the UK.
Pick up the mic a little bit.
Right? They don't sell the Fruit Loops, the same brand that we have. They sell Fruit Loops in Canada and the UK, but the Canadian government, UK government, make them to not use those dyes, but rather use natural fruit coloring. So they have options to use, healthy options, but they choose to use the dyes here in the US because the FDA lets them do it. So, and a lot of parents are not aware of that. To your point, by 60%, your kids' behavior, they got calm. That's huge. Now, imagine if you start taking note of the other foods they're eating, which is high in processed foods, which is like on high sugar foods. So that's the next step I would say for you is cut out the color, start paying attention to what's sugar. Everything has sugar nowadays. And sugar is...
like we said, the number one drug in the world.
Sugar is more addictive than heroin, bro. Shit. And that's not me talking. That is a fact.
These are statics. These are stats. There you go. Yeah. So that's crazy. Like I'm telling you, like I had to put it to the test, and like my wife can witness. She's like, "Yo, she brought it to me. She's like, have you noticed?
Yeah.
Have you noticed how different they've been with each other?" And I sat back and I was like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
this is crazy." And like when I start thinking about this stuff, like even when you're talking, I'm like, think about how many people have been affected by this. We talking about criminals. We talking about, like, it sounds crazy, but mentally, think about...
Okay, trust me. So basically, one of the three biggest contributors to mental health, or rather having a healthy mental health, not talking about people who've been traumatized, but the average person who is experiencing brain fog, cognitive dissonance, they just have not cognitive dissonance, but poor focus, or maybe having depression, anxiety. And a lot of times there's a new emerging field called nutritional psychiatry, right? Where by simply cutting out sugar out of your diet, most people who have anxiety or mental health problems, they have significant improvements. Because mental health is also brain health, right? So by just cutting out the sugar, bro, it decreases erratic behavior, it calms you down, and it helps you to get better focus. So... That's
crazy. So another thing that I've I've been doing, this is maybe completely left, but I've been microdosing shrooms, like mushrooms, like psychedelics.
Yep.
And I've noticed how eating something along those lines, I don't know if you're into that stuff.
No, well, it's funny you mention it because I'm going to be going to Costa Rica.
Okay.
And then later this year, and one of the things that I want to try is I want to try do a ayahuasca ceremony.
I want to do it too. You got to let me know how it is.
You said microdosing shrooms. So I was just listening on the way over here. I was reading on LinkedIn, sorry. So the U.S., apparently the U.S. government, or rather the VA, is looking at the effects of psychedelics in treating PTSD. So, and I was in a seminar earlier this year on psychedelics and higher states of consciousness. So that's going to be something that's coming, because psychedelics, there's so much happening in that field. Now, I'm not talking about using it recreationally, but using it in a controlled environment with experts. The benefits, it's going to be the next big thing. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, so based upon my own experiences so when I've microdosed shrooms, and, like I said, that term, different strokes for different folks. What works for you works for you. But in my experience, so I've been microdosing shrooms, and I realized how they affect my outlook on the world. My happiness has increased. On the visual side, the world looks more stunningly. Like I would go to the park with my family and I would look at the trees, and it was like the energy was radiating off the trees. I don't know if that's the right word, but pulsating out of the trees. And then every leaf, every little prick or cut inside of a tree would show me some type of energy. Back to when we was talking about trees, when I said I hug trees and feel trees. Now, stunningly visually, it would be so beautiful, bro, to the point that it enhanced my perspective for the earth. Like when I'm at a dense state, right? So when I've been eating stuff that is more on the dense side, my outlook for the world is more dull. I would say, like, looking at trees, you don't realize how much a tree has experienced from this state, if that makes sense. Like, you just look at it as a tree, and it's just a tree. It's just out there. But on shrooms, it would enhance it, and I would be like, oh my gosh, this planet is so beautiful. The blades of the grass, all these things. So that's what I was going to ask you. I was going to say, do you feel that shrooms are beneficial for holistic healing?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, mushrooms, among other things, there are lots of other herbs that have been used, by our ancestors for hundreds of years. So a lot of this stuff, obviously, in the last 100 years, it's been made illegal. But prior to that, a lot of tribes have been using ayahuasca, cannabis, LSD, mushrooms. Those things have been used for hundreds of years. So this is not something new. This is just that we kind of like acknowledging the benefits of it. So yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of happening right now. A lot of scientists, a lot of people smarter than us are researching the benefits of those herbs like mushrooms. So that's going to be coming pretty soon, man. That's what's happening.
So what do you feel is the best way to start taking the first step to like you said, is I remember you saying before, it was like what works for everything is different for different people, but as a health coach, what's like the first direction you would point somebody in so that they can take their health serious? Because a lot of people don't take their health serious until bad things start happening, until it's too late at that point.
No, until they get to the doctor and they get diagnosed saying you pre-diabetic or you diabetic or you have this cardiovascular disease or you have XYZ. And let me tell you this, all right? Like 90% of illnesses are caused by inflammation. And one of the biggest causes of inflammation is what we eat, the food that we eat, and stress, right? So I think like health is just, the state of health in this country is probably one of the worst in developing countries. Let's put it that way. A lot of us eat what you call ultra processed foods, and that's like 90% of the foods you get in the supermarket are ultra-processed foods.
Can you name some of the ultra-processed foods?
Ultra-processed foods is pretty much anything that's not come directly from a plant.
So like cereal, bread.
Cereal, bread, most of the stuff you get in the gas station, cookies, just about, pizza.
So pretty much anything that's sold in plastic.
Not just that, the fast foods are ultra-processed.
Got you.
Right? Like you would think fried chicken has one ingredient. It's probably had maybe 30 ingredients in just in the seasoning they put in there. And a lot of times it's because they have to preserve the food to sell it. So they use preservatives, they use emulsifiers, things to extend the shelf life, but also to add flavor. But a big part of it is the food companies have figured out a way to make those foods addictive, right? Like a lot of people have problems eating healthy, and it's not really because not everyone has like willpower. It's also because, remember back in the 80s during this when tobacco companies was under scrutiny?
Absolutely.
And they had scientists saying, there was a
I wasn't born around that time, but I know what you're talking about. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Long story short, they figured out a way to make smoking cigarette addictive. These same scientists just went over to the food companies, and they have been experimenting, spending millions of dollars to figure out how to make this processed food addictive. How to make, when you smell KFC, when you smell Burger King, they have it down to a science. All of the chips that you buy at the gas station, they have designed those food in a way that it becomes addictive, right?
So it's not the fact that I'm choosing this, I'm an addict.
You are an addict, and that was by design, because think about it, it's business. And if you are addicted to the food, then you keep buying it, you keep wanting it. And some of us are strong enough to say, you know what, when you face a health crisis, then you stop. I always used to look at people and be like, man, this guy is fat. Why doesn't he stop eating? Or this person, they know this is bad for them. Why are they eating it? And in the last few years or so, I realized it's not just individual responsibility anymore. It's social responsibility. Like the food companies should be held responsible for this, because food companies don't give a damn about nutrition. They don't. All they care about is profits. And how do they get profits? Is by making the food addictive, making it for a lot of sugar, because sugar is very addictive, and by creating customers of us from the time we were born. Every holiday, I made an observation. My kids are in like elementary school prior to that daycare. Every holiday is linked to candy. Think about this. And think about it, they are marketing to kids, like Chick-fil-A is marketing to kids in elementary school. So they're making customers of us from the time we're kids, bro. So you are literally nothing but a consumer of sugary, of unhealthy processed foods that are designed to make you addictive to it.
So it's like a crack dealer waiting outside of the school.
Legal crack dealers, bro. No, not outside the school. They are in the vending machines. They are in the school. They're in your cabinet.
Fuck.
They are on your Instagram.
That's crazy.
They are
that's
everywhere
crazy.
and illegal. And this food is killing people. Literally, it's poison, like you said. I'm not going to hold back on it. It is poison.
So we're poison. So basically, we're being poisoned.
Yes, we are, for profit.
What? So then that makes, like, that's the thing. Like, when we talk about poisoning our people, all humans, right? I mean, at this point, or is this like just United States, or would you say?
So it started in the US,
okay,
right? So a lot of these food companies have been doing this, since the 60s, 70s. And then now it's spreading. A lot of countries now, because of the American marketing machine, obviously McDonald's is everywhere now, Burger King is everywhere. So America has been exporting this, what we call a standard American diet, which is called a SAD diet, S-A-T, to other countries. But some countries are pushing back, like in Japan. Like a lot of these countries, they're realizing this food is causing diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure. All those diseases are caused by the foods that we eat. And you can reverse those diseases by just going back to eating a whole food diet, by the way. So America is the epicenter of it. But some food companies, for example, check this out. This is crazy. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, there was a major article in BBC News where America, we bleach our chicken.
I did not know that. Yeah. Like, were you talking about before or after?
No, now we still do it.
Like, I'm saying before they're alive or after they die?
After they die, they kill the chicken and then they bleach it. The raw chicken, and then they sell it. I think they do it for whatever the reason they do it. But long story short, Europe said, we're not going to import bleached chicken. It's not safe. America the food company was trying to sue those European companies because they refuse to accept the bleached chicken, which is the raw chicken. Can you believe that?
No, that's crazy.
A lot of the foods that we buy on our shelves here in Europe, they come with warning signs like cigarettes. This has red dye, yellow dye, linked to ADHD, linked to this. And they're required to put those labels on their foods. In America, we just sell it.
So it's kind of like when we see those ads about for medicine, a certain type of medication, it does this, but it has all these side effects. Like sometimes me and my wife will watch TV and they'll throw up this commercial and they'll say, this is for this. But then now that we became highly conscious, we'll pay attention to all the side effects. And I'm like, this shit contribute. Like, you could get cancer. These are the risks.
Yes.
Like, at that point, I'm better off just dealing with the sickness or whatever I'm dealing with than taking this prescription because it could enhance it. Go ahead.
Let's put it this way. The system here is rigged against us. You are only a consumer, right? In not just America, but most capitalist countries. And nothing wrong with capitalism. But the food companies get you sick, right? And they don't care about nutrition or health. They just care about profits. So they get you addicted. They sell you garbage or poison. They get you sick. Then the pharmaceutical companies come in and sell you drugs, right? Because you're sick.
Now you double sick.
So if you're not sick, then you're not a good. Then you're not a benefit to anyone.
Oh, you're not. Yeah, you're not worth.
You're not worth
anything.
So so they want to keep you. So the food companies get you sick. Drug companies get to sell you drugs that are going to make you worse.
And then school brings indoctrination.
So it's all that. So,
what the fuck?
Like, so basically, bruv, so how's the worst kind of citizen? You want to know who's the worst kind of citizen?
Tell me.
The citizen who eats whole foods, who's healthy, who doesn't have debt, doesn't have a criminal record. Because if you don't have any of those things, you're no good to society.
You're like a ghost at that point.
And let's put it this way. If you're a criminal, then you go to prison. The prison system, that's how they make their money, by making customers. So you're a prisoner. If you are sick, the pharmaceutical companies make money off of you, right? If you are eating unhealthy foods, the food companies make money off of you. If you are in debt, the credit card companies make money off of you. So if you have no debt, no criminal record, you eat healthy and you're not sick, you're no good for the economy. Because the economy only grows when we consume. And those major corporations, they don't, there's nobody benefits. They don't make money if you are that person who is healthy, has no debt, right? You eat, you take care of your body, and then you don't have a criminal record. So it behooves, so if you're not one of those things, you're no good to the system.
So, damn, that's just deep as hell. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Like, the more like I'm thinking of it, because I'm thinking about it like a spider web, right? Yeah. You have the spider web, and then you have all these connections that contribute to you being this junkie. Like, let's be real, we're junkies. And then you have television, you have school, you have work, you have all these things that are keeping you confined, because then you can't live that lifestyle. No. Like, a lot of times I'll sit here and, like I said, I'm a skeptic. And a lot of times I feel defeated the more that I sit and divulge or dive into this process of the spiritual journey. And it's like, okay, I can get my health right, but then I got to do this for work. But then I got to do this. Then I got to do that. Like, all these things are just keeping us confined. And I feel like sometimes, I'm not going to lie to you, when I think about this spiritual journey and I think about becoming aware of everything that's going on, I'm like, I'm never going to be able to escape it. Like, I can stop being subscribed to the Matrix. Yeah. Stop being subscribed to, eating unhealthy and this and that. Yeah. But then once again, the government or whatever, the higher ups, they then put on this box that we need to do this or we need to do that to live a certain type of lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, well, they've convinced us that we need a fancy car, that we need 10 pairs of jeans, you need 5 pairs of shoes. They've convinced us you need those things to keep you and to get you chasing after things outside to fulfill you. And then it's like a cycle, so it never ends. And we learned that with TN2 in meditation, the consumption, right? So it's all part of it. So when you wake up from that and you realize, wait a minute, this is just a trap, right? All this is just a trap. None of this shit matters at the end of the day. That pair of Jordan does not matter at the end of the day. It does not matter, right? What kind of a car you drive. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you work hard and you want to have a nice car, but don't make that the thing that defines you as a success in this life, because that's not going to bring you fulfillment.
Damn, that's bars. No, you just that shit just went deep for me, because I was like, you can have holistic healing, but then you focus on your health, but then you got to focus on your lifestyle. Then you have to, like, it can be hard, but I think that what keeps me going with the spiritual journey and everything that I'm chasing is that in some hopes, I'm planting seeds so that people who are here after me and people who are here after them, these seeds can blossom into trees and change the culture, change the way of the outlook, and create a wave that affects society. Yes. Right? I just look at myself as a piece. Now, in my lifetime.
I really like that. And not to mention the people who are listening to this podcast, hopefully one or two people will get a message from this and will start to re-examine their lives.
I ain't even gonna say just one or two. I'm gonna say millions.
Well, I mean, if you do millions, that one person can affect the lives of millions. So that's all our job is to pass the message, and whoever it is for is gonna understand it. It's not gonna be for everyone, though.
No, that's facts. I think that is I think that's the beautiful thing about following the journey is that in my lifetime I may not see the change, but as time prolongs, I can be a stepping stone to people challenging the world, challenging everything that they're told. Like that's my thing is like, so another thing about, and I don't want to stick too long on this subject, but another thing that was indoctrinated as a kid is that my mom used to always be like, you need to finish your whole plate. You need to eat all your food. And sometimes I'll be over full, but then as an adult, I realized that has indoctrinated me to being to have this behavior of overeating. So now I get some food and me and my wife will go out and I'll crush my food and she's over there taking these little bites. And I'm like, damn, it's crazy because now that I'm aware of it, I realize that I'm overeating. So now that I'm aware of it, I catch myself at times. I'm like, okay, one, I'm eating too fast. Two, I'm overeating. There's a point. I don't want to eat to that point where I feel dense. Back to what I'm saying. I don't want to feel overfull because now I'm bloated. Now I'm tired. Now I don't feel alive. Now I'm losing my awareness of what's going on with my reality. So those things are like, bro, that shit is crazy. So what do you think is the first? And I know we're talking about the first, but how does somebody who does not notice that they're overeating, what do you think is like the first sign of becoming aware, like I'm eating too much?
I think you know the answer to that one already, which is mindfulness, right? I mean, and exactly as you said, if every time they feel like they have to finish their plate, well, let's put it this way. I'll give you a guide. So in our ancestors, in a lot of old cultures, the way they ate was that they ate until they were three quarters full. So never eat until you're 100% full. When you're 3/4 full, you stop. That's a good guide right there. And that's how a lot of ancient cultures, that's how they did it.
What does that feel like?
Well, think about what it feels like when you're 100% full. You can't move. Your stomach is heavy. You feel lazy. It's just like if you're uncomfortable for at least an hour after you've eaten. So now imagine that but not quite there, but you're feeling full, but not bloated where you can't walk and you can't move. So that's what it would feel like you're almost, like there is still room to eat some more, but then you stop yourself.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that I'm trying to think how I can look at it.
I mean, but tell me, but when you say overeating, like
so that's what I was about to say. I found my track, my thought process. All right, so have you ever heard the word itis?
Itis, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that term where everybody's like, you're talking about, what is it? Thanksgiving, right?
Yep.
They're like, oh yeah, you know, I didn't crush 6 plates and now I got the itis, right?
Yep.
And so that's a trend that's within our culture. People is that we think that if you eat at that level, then you're doing something good for your body, then you benefit it. But the fact is that's affecting you. And another thing that I notice is that when I drink, like if I drink today, I drink tonight, I have all these shots. Tomorrow, I'm going to feel like I'm stuck in the past. I'm going to be moving slow and my functionality isn't going to be as I need it to be. For example, like if I drink tonight and then tomorrow I go to the gym, I'm going to feel so much sluggish.
Absolutely.
Then I'm not even going to be able to lift half of the stuff that I throw around. So
absolutely. Yeah.
These are crazy trends, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Yeah.
It's wild. All right. So I wrote down some notes. What type of rituals help with holistic healing?
Okay. So when you say holistic healing, or do you mean like holistic healing in terms of healing your body from an illness, or in terms of like
both? Always. Like what type of rituals would you say? Because my thing now is like I'm talking about cults and I'm talking about rituals. And when I'm using cult, I'm referring to culture. When I'm saying rituals, I'm talking about the practices that we need to take in order for us to maintain our holistic health.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, I think number one is sleep, right? Sleep is the best medicine. And a lot of because in my practice, I try to incorporate a lot of ancient remedies and ancient modalities, like from Ayurveda to traditional Chinese medicine to even, local shamanism. So sleep, number one. Number two, you want to make sure you eat your nutrition, your diet. What are you putting inside? Meaning you should be eating all whole foods, right? Or 90% of what you eat should be whole foods, meaning it's not in a box. It's an actual potato. As opposed to a mashed potatoes in the box, meaning it's actual chicken. It's actual meat, not nothing processed you buy in a package. You buy it, you clean it, you cook it, right? So eating a lot of plant-based foods. 70% of what you eat should be plant-based foods. So eating plant-based foods, grains, whole foods, right? Watch Dr. Zebi if you need some more advice on that. And number three is, I would say, so you have sleep, you have what you eat, physical movement.
So being active,
whether that's going for a walk, whether that's running, going to the gym, right? Doing yoga, do something, right? It doesn't mean, playing basketball, do something, being active. Another one, and these are very, very important ones, social connections. Right? Like, have you ever heard of the Blue Zone's Secret to Longevity?
I haven't.
So it's on Netflix. So it's a series where this group of scientists, they basically found places in the world where people typically tend to live to 100 and over.
Oh yeah, you told me about that last episode. Okay, yeah.
So this guy, he did a documentary. It's on Netflix. And he visited all those different places around the world, people living to 100, to see what was the secret. Why were they living to be 100 without any illness, without having to take drugs, and still, like this woman at 95 years old, she's still waking up in the morning, cooking, baking, cleaning at 95 to 100. So what they found was a number of key connectors, right? They found one of them was obviously they eat whole foods, natural foods. They move a lot. Most of them tend to have gardening or they're shepherds or whatever it is, but they're always walking. Imagine an 85-year-old man walking 20 kilometers a day. That's his job. He's a shepherd. Another one was social connections. Believe it or not, depression is the equivalent of smoking a pack of cigarette a day, right? Being depressed. So in our society now, a lot of us, in the past, we had big families. We live in a community, a clan, a village. We had uncle, brothers, cousins. We all knew each other. In the blue zones, those people, they tend to live in communities where everybody knew each other. And they were always out with each other, connecting with each other.
So you're saying that family can play a key role in your
holistic health? Absolutely. Family is crucial. You could eat right, exercise, sleep, and if you don't have social connections frequently with loved ones, you will die young. That's been shown.
So another thing that just
or rather you'll die early. Let me not say.
No, go ahead. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Another thing that just crossed my head or that I heard, and this is completely left, but so I just did this 75 hard. I think I told you about that last time. I was doing that. I lost 32 pounds to be exact. Wow. And I'm still following like this health journey of just learning my body more. But I've been drinking a gallon of water a day, and I recently heard that drinking a gallon of water a day may be too much and to switch over into fruit water. So like a coconut water. I heard that these are more beneficial for your health than drinking too much water.
I mean, there are different opinions on this, but your body is 70% water. Maybe drinking a gallon is a lot, but if you could drink 3/4 gallon or 3 liters of water a day, like I walk around with a glass bottle of water every day. I drink 3 a day. So I don't think you could drink too much water, because your water, it boosts your metabolism. It lubricates your joints. I mean, your brain is, like 60% water? So your body needs water, and it's more beneficial to you than fruit juice. Now, coconut water, I wouldn't classify as a fruit juice. Coconut water is very unique, right? And not the stuff you buy in the box, the real coconut, in that it is the only water that's in perfect balance with your body fluids, your lymphatic fluids. Like if you were dehydrating today, I could take a young coconut and plug it right into your bloodstream like an IV. That's how pure coconut water is off the tree.
So is coconut water better than normal water? Or do you say that both have their
own benefits? But coconut water is probably like, Gatorade, all those types of sports drinks, they have nothing on coconut water. Coconut water has all the electrolytes that your body needs, and it's made by nature. No dyes, no coloring, nothing. So it's a very good hydration if you're really thirsty. It has salts and sugars in the right balance that your body needs.
Yeah, that's crazy, because a lot of the things that I hear, like,
but fruit juices tend to be high in sugar.
Like natural fruit juices.
Fruit juices also, because think about it. Like up until maybe our ancestors didn't get fresh squeezed fruit juice. They had to eat the fruit, and they got the pulp and they got everything. Mm-hmm. Now you're taking out the pulp and everything, and you eating like maybe 25 oranges in one glass. That's a lot of sugar in your body at the same time, right? So gotta watch how much juice you drink, even if it's fresh fruit juice. Water is always better.
Water is always better.
Yeah.
Another thing that I wanted to touch on is like, for you specifically, with you being a health coach, do you have any like rising routines when you wake up? When you first rise? Like what are yours that, I mean, if that's not asking anything too personal,
all good.
What are you like for you? What works for you when you rise?
So I think for me, everybody's different. First of all, no one, because you and I are not the same. What works for me wouldn't work for you, wouldn't work for somebody else there, right? But I think in general, there are certain things that you want to follow. I try to wake up in the morning early, before the sunrise. If you start your day before the sun, you're always going to be ahead of the sun. If you start the day after the sun, you'll always be chasing the sun all day. So I start my day early. I normally try to start with meditation. Now, whether that's sitting meditation, mindful meditation, sometimes I do Qigong. I lived in China for a few years and I studied Qigong. So I do Qigong, or sometimes I do pranayama breathing, which is like Ayurveda techniques of breathing. Because think about it, you can't live without air. And just do the pranayama has been shown to increase the length of your lifespan. So my thing is I do meditation. After that, I will do yoga twice a week. And after that, I typically work out for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. I hit the gym, kettlebells, dumbbells in my home. A couple of days a week, I go running. And then after I hit the gym, then I might do a cold plunge for 10 minutes. So I wake up, meditate, yoga or gym, cold plunge for 10 minutes, and then I start my day.
So, all right, so I have two questions. First of all, what is Qigong? Because I know, I recently went to, you know who Michael Singer is?
Yes.
He wrote so I actually went to his Temple of the Universe in Florida a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And when I tell you that the experience was nice. Amazing.
Yeah.
But they were doing the chants. Mm-hmm. And I realized when I was doing that, it raised my frequency and made me feel amazing. Like, especially doing it with that many people, it made me feel amazing. But what is Qigong?
Yes, so Qigong comes from China.
Okay.
It's been around for maybe I don't know, 2,000 years, whatever. But it's a type of moving meditation, where you are basically doing movements that will help you to balance your chi in your body, your energy. It helps you. It helps with depression. It helps with anxiety. It helps with focus. So it's kind of like basically a moving meditation where you are harnessing and channeling your internal body energy. That's all it is. So it kind of looks like Tai Chi a little bit, but it's more focused just for energy. Whereas Tai Chi has roots in like martial arts.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering when you said Qigong. I was thinking it was like maybe some type of like martial arts. And then another thing that came into my brain is that so I read the Way of the Superior Man, and they at the end of it, I read it like last year, but every now and then I'll pick it up and put it back down. And they were talking about semen retention. Like I don't know if you feel comfortable talking about that. So I've tried it, but I'm gonna be honest. Like this may sound crazy. Like I tried it and it was so hard because I was like, how do I do this? Are you familiar with it? Do you try it? Do you find benefits in it? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, so according to, Tai Chi philosophies, and there's this guy I follow on YouTube, I could give you the link. So he's been teaching about that for a long time, about how obviously semen is your life's energy, right? I think that's where the most energy is for a man, is right there. And every time you have an ejaculation, you release that energy out.
Absolutely.
But in Tai Chi and certain Qigong as well, it teaches that it's not always healthy to ejaculate, right? So what that means is if you can hold that energy in, right, and during sex and rather channel it upwards, up your spine, then you can use that energy to be more creative, to have more, to connect spiritually. So it's not saying do not ever have an ejaculation, but to limit the amount that you have, because you're draining your life force away. According to those philosophies, that's what you're doing. You're draining out your energy.
Have you done it yourself?
I did that practice a few times. It's pretty much about muscle control and breath control. It does also help you, obviously, to prolong your sex drive as well if you learn how to do it properly. So to the point where you could, those people who get good at it, they can almost control and lengthen the ejaculation.
Yeah, because I'm not going to lie. So when the times that I've tried it, and if you guys feel insecure about it, man, we're grown people, but I'm not insecure about it. So the times that I tried it, I was confused because I was like, okay, do I just not divulge in having sex? Do I just like not even try to get mine, or right before I get mine, am I supposed to just stop everything that I'm doing and just stop? Because that's what I was confused about.
So that's the thing, right? So there are different types of ejaculation. So you could ejaculate, which means you let it out, but you could have an orgasm without having an ejaculation. So the goal is to get to the point where you're able to have an orgasm internally and not ejaculate. Now,
fuck do you do?
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
It's a long. It's not something you could master overnight, but with time you could get it. But when you do that, the cool thing about it is that you can keep on going. You keep on going even after you have an orgasm, and apparently it's even more intense than a regular ejaculation, and it lasts longer. So, but that's something that it's an art form, and it's something that requires almost daily practice. But when you get it, people who have gotten that, they can have sex for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
That's crazy. That's a long ass time to have sex. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's not continuous, but I mean, like you could go, it's like, I think all too often we just rush to get that ejaculation.
That's true.
It's gotta be, but it's something rare. If you could, so imagine being in a state of like ecstasy for 3-4 hours, and it's not rushed, So you say, what, this afternoon we're just gonna stay home and just have sex.
Let's just take our time.
Let's take our time. We could take pauses in between, but that's what we're doing today. And you're not getting to the point where you ejaculate and you're like, oh, I got mine, I'm done. But you can keep going and pleasuring each other. And I mean, it's great, man.
No, I want to do it. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. So like, that's what I say. Back to my experiences that I've tried it, and one thing I like when it comes to ejaculation, I've started to realize that when I do ejaculate, I instantly lose my like, I become dumb.
You become dumb? Yeah.
I become dumb for however long until I recover. And this may sound crazy to people, but whatever. I don't give a shit. Right? after I ejaculate, I feel dumb. My energy is gone. I feel depleted. Like, I'm talking about depleted. Like, even back to the gym scenario. If I have sex the night before and I wake up 4 a.m. to go to the gym, I notice that if I have sex the night before and then I go to the gym, I cannot move the way that I need to move. I play basketball and I feel sluggish. I feel like I'm not in tune with my body. All of this because of intercourse.
Let's think about it, right? So this is something that's a whole other topic by itself, and I feel we're going down a hole, but I don't mind going down that hole. So, like,
no pun intended.
Yeah,
it's a great conversation.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, think about it. Semen is what creates life.
Facts.
Right? So it takes a lot of energy to make semen, to make sperm, to make life. So when you let that life out of you, all that energy which your body just spent a long time making, you're letting it out. You're wasting it.
That's crazy.
So every time you masturbating, now everyone's different. Don't get me wrong. There are people who everyone's different. Right? This doesn't apply to every single person on earth. But generally speaking, for most of us, I know a lot of athletes, they don't have sex prior to going, like, prior to a game, or boxers. And that goes back to, hundreds of years, where they believe that by having sex or however long, maybe a week or a day before competing, it affected their performance. So there is some truth to that.
Yeah, I heard about that. Like, some boxers wouldn't have sex. Leading up to their fight because they wanted to maintain their strength and their energy. Yeah,
exactly. So think about it. So semen is sacred, man. This is sacred. So every time you have an ejaculation, you let it out, you are wasting life energy, life force.
I'm about to start telling my wife to leave me alone. Yo, leave me alone.
No, I'm not saying
you can't have none of this sacred divine source.
According to Tai Chi, and that type of Tai Chi is that you basically not supposed to ejaculate every single time, right? But obviously now we don't know that. We just trying to bust. That's what people
I'm about to start being like, you're gonna have to wait till your birthday to get some of this.
No, but think about it. But if you could get in a state where you could have sex for 2-3 hours and just and not have to and not feel depleted afterwards, matter of fact, you feel energized, right? It gives you energy because and that's how it was in the old days, right? Women, like, sexual energy is supposed to nourish you, right? That's why, a sensual woman, a feminine woman feeds you sexual energy, and that energizes you, And so it's a lot to it when you have the right woman who knows about that and understands how to give you energy as a man.
That's deep as hell. No, that's a beautiful way to put it. Another thing I wanted to talk about is so back to becoming aware of your body. What do you feel like are the signs, right? Before the doctor, right? Yeah. What is like some mental notes that you could take on, or you could ask yourself, okay, what are the signs of needing to focus on your health? I mean, I feel like we always should focus on our health, but what do you think is like one of the major signs? Like, how do you know, all right, it's time to change take my health serious before you get to the doctor? We're not talking about those last minute situations.
I think if you're not taking your health seriously right now, you should just start, period. That's it.
So as you're hearing this,
start taking it seriously. Don't wait until you have a skin condition. Because a lot of times when you have toxins in your body, it shows on your skin first. You have pimples, you have boils, you have lipomas, because your body's trying to get rid of toxins and the liver is overworking, so it's pushing it out to the skin. Right? That's one sign. If you want a sign, you can't sleep at night, it's probably because your hormones are out of balance, right? You're always irritable, you're always angry, always upset. It's probably because something is out of balance in you, right? So these are all signs that you need to start taking your health seriously. You're feeling low energy. So let's say by 2 p.m, you're tired. That's the sign that your body's out of balance.
So if you're burnt out, then it's a sign of saying I need to get my shit together, basically.
Yes, I mean, if you get burnt out quickly, so like if you by mid-afternoon you crashing, it probably means your body's out of balance. You might be eating too much sugar, because let's put it this way: sugar burns fast. You have a glucose crash. So if you eat a lot of sugar, sugar is like Kindle, right? So let's say your body has two sources of energy. It uses fat and sugar. So sugar would be like the Kindle, kind of like a fire, the little Kindle, and fat would be like the big logwoods. Which one burns faster, the Kindle or the log?
The Kindle.
Now, which one burns longer?
The logs.
The logs. So sugar is like the Kindle. After that sugar, you take sugar, it gives you energy, and boom, you just crash. But if you burn in fat, but healthy fats, not hydrolyzed oils, don't buy corn oil, canola oil, none of that garbage. Healthy fats like you get from grass-fed meats, avocados,
bananas,
coconut, yes, bananas, nuts, healthy fats. That's gonna burn longer.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's what happens when you do intermittent fasting, by the way.
So that's actually where I'm at on my diet. So I was doing vegan. Yeah. I didn't been vegetarian, but I just switched over to like a kind of like keto type of diet just because now I'm trying to get more cut with my body. Yeah. And so I stopped myself from eating. I start eating around 6 a.m. after I leave the gym, 7 a.m. And then I'm switching over to now I'm stopping my eating by 3 or 5 p.m. if I can. Like, this is a process. Yeah. And so I've been doing keto, but I'm back to eating meat. I'm back to, eating some chicken, eating turkey, eating, those type of following that type of diet just to see where it takes my body. So that's what I was going to ask you. That was a great thing to touch on, but I was going to say like alkaline versus vegan versus like flexitarian. Like, do you know what a flexitarian is? Yeah. There's some new shit that they just started.
Yeah, absolutely. So, they create labels for everything that's been happening for a long time. It's just a label that they create for something that people do. So what was the question? What's alkaline versus vegan?
So I know a little bit about alkaline, but what is a true alkaline diet in comparison to vegetarian?
Okay, so I'll try to simplify.
And which one's better too?
Sure.
Sorry.
I'll try to simplify it, right? So first thing is that there is none better than the other. It's what works for you. Remember, right? So your body is different to everybody else's. Absolutely. So you got to figure out what works best for you.
So trial and error.
So listen to your body. So maybe you want to go alkaline diet, which is similar to vegan diet, because alkaline foods are basically foods that have a high pH, a pH above 6 or above 7.
Can you give us examples?
So alkaline foods, think about like avocado, all leafy greens, lemon, nuts, not really nuts, but more like watermelon, spinach, kale. These are all alkaline-based foods. And according to a lot of health philosophies, and here's how it works. Bacteria, and even Dr. Zebi said that, bacteria cannot survive in a highly alkaline environment. So if you are not just bacteria, but bad bacteria, because there is good bacteria living in your stomach. So if you eat a lot of processed foods, chances are the acidity level in your body your pH level is very low. So, which means you are creating an environment where bad bacteria and virus can thrive and you get sick. Now, by eating alkaline-based foods, which is more like more plant-based foods predominantly, that's going to increase your pH level in your body and thereby making it hard for bacteria or bad viruses to survive. And which means that you will least likely get sick and the body will heal itself. And that's the same thing. So it also reduces inflammation in your body because inflammation is 90%. Remember what we said earlier? 90% of diseases are caused by inflammation. Mm-hmm. You get inflammation from eating ultra-processed foods or not plant-based foods, typically. And
when you're saying inflammation, you're talking about mucus, high levels of mucus, right?
So inflammation. So let's say you have a cut, and that cut gets red, and then you touch it, it kind of hurts, right? So that cut gets red because the body is trying to heal it. So the body creates, it sends a lot of white blood cells there, and it creates inflammation to help that thing heal. Now imagine that happening inside your body, where your body is inflamed, right? Which means the acidity in your body is pretty high. And that inflammation leads to your body to going out of balance, leads to diseases like a lot of diseases are caused by inflammation. Like most diseases are caused by inflammation.
So when you're saying that, I'm thinking of a wildfire, and there not being enough firefighters to put out the fire.
Kind of like a fire in your body. You need to basically cool that fire down. You need to basically, I don't want to put it that way, like a fire in your body, but inflammation, it is like, your body's on fire, basically. And the foods you eating are making it worse. Processed foods makes it worse. So it's like fuel for that fire. Plant-based foods is like the extinguisher, and it also helps it to heal. So now you ask about, so that's now vegans on the other hand, they tend to eat only plant-based foods, obviously. And then flexitarians it's a term for people who they eat predominantly plant-based, but every now and then they'll have meat or chicken or fish. But predominantly 80% of what they eat is like plant-based foods.
So to be truthfully honest, there is, back to you said, there is no right way. It's only about what works for you.
What works for you.
And back to one of my my last episode I just did.
Yeah.
One of my homies was telling me it's about you being a scientist for yourself. You have to try things and test it and see how it benefits you.
That's true.
To see how it benefits your reality.
That is true, but there is an actual science to it. Where, for example, like I will go to this Korean Chinese doctor, and according to that philosophy, there were 8 body types. According to Chinese philosophy,
what are the 8 body types? You got to give it to me.
I can't remember the names, but I'll put it for you. All right. So my body type, and I knew that intuitively, I shouldn't be eating red meat or any meat. I stopped eating meat 14 years ago. Right now, my partner, she can eat meat. She can. I only eat fish. So I've been a pescatarian for the last 10 years now, 10 to 12 years. So I could eat fish all day long, right? So it all depends on your body type. I have a small frame. Guys who normally have big frames, they normally are meat eaters. Another thing is there's what you call constitution and condition. Constitution is how you were born, which means, for example, maybe you born and your liver is strong, right? Which means you could eat meat, but maybe you have a weak stomach. So, and it's not because anything you're doing, it's just because naturally that's how your body is designed.
That's how it was born.
So now if over time you have let's say you have a weak liver, naturally, that's how you were born, and you're drinking a lot of alcohol, what's that going to do? If you keep drinking alcohol until you're like 40, 50, that's going to give you liver cirrhosis, right? Because your liver is already a weak. Now, how do you know that? There are ways you can find that out. There are lots of quizzes. There are in traditional Chinese medicine, in that my Chinese doctor, or you could eat for your blood type. Some people blood type, they need to eat meat. So there are different ways to find out how what works for you. And you can listen to your body. Maybe one day you drink milk or cheese and you're having gas. Yeah. Which means, hey, your body's saying, I don't like dairy. So that's it.
No, this is great. The next thing that I wanted to touch on is bro, you dropping gems. I'm trying to pick up everything that you're dropping. Okay, so you were saying as far as the 8 body types. That's definitely something you got to send me information on, because I'm like,
one medicinal philosophy. So it's kind of like every culture has their own measurements that they use.
Yeah.
The Chinese, there are 5 body types. In Ayurveda, there are 3 body types. In this one I'm telling you about, there are 8. But none is right and none is better than the other. They all kind of come to this kind of align.
Like a median.
Yeah, they all kind of align when you really get to know them. But in our culture, in Western medicine, they don't even understand that.
Yeah, I've never heard about that until you just brought it up.
They just know how to give you drugs or do surgery to fix you only when you're sick. In those cultures, the focus is on keeping the body in balance so you never get sick. So that's kind of how holistic health works. You are constantly eating the right things, doing the right things, and your body will not get sick like it would, versus living the lifestyle that most people are living here.
So, maintaining higher levels of consciousness. So, all right, this is my last thing before we close out.
Yep.
I was gonna say, let me see how I can put this into a perspective. Is like, one thing I noticed is that maintaining my consciousness, back to what we were saying, is like fasting, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When I fast, I notice that I have a higher awareness of my consciousness, higher awareness of how I can move within my spirit and how it affects my spirit. And we talked about this loosely before.
Yeah.
What is your personal guide to maintaining your frequency of a high frequency when it comes to eating and holistic health?
Yeah. I think for me, it's my routine.
So your rising routine?
The rising and sleeping routine. So the more you get towards this journey, the more you start listening to your body and doing what it needs. What works for me mightn't work for everyone else. But for me, I think number one is obviously putting the right foods in my body, right? Number two is practicing having a routine in the morning where I start my day with gratitude. That's huge. You will not believe the benefits of feeling gratitude every day. It's kind of like feeling like the thing you want, you already have it. So imagine walking around with that feeling all day long and not wanting anything else. So that right there tells the universe that, going back to the power of manifestation, that's kind of how it works. You envision what you want and you envision the feeling, because feeling conveys frequency. That feeling, you hang on to it and you be grateful for what you have. It's only when you're happy with what you have, then you get more. Right? Be grateful for the people in your lives. Be grateful for the roof over your head.
For your experience.
For the bed you're sleeping on. A lot of things that we are not grateful for, some people are struggling to get this. So starting your day with gratitude, for me, meditating helps me to connect to myself and to connect to God, or whatever your definition of God is. Another thing I do is, I think, to your point, going in nature is something that we always lived in nature. This is the only civilization where we are away from nature. That is the quickest way to connect spiritually and to stay connected, is to go in nature as often as you can and be quiet, be still, shut the phone off, and just listen to yourself.
I thought you was about to say shut the fuck up.
Nah,
that's really what it should be. Is we have to learn how to be
shut the fuck
quiet.
up. Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
I mean, that's you want to say that, yeah. So for me, it's my routine, and it's always being grateful and being mindful. That keeps me grounded. Yeah,
at a higher level.
Got
you. Oh, and then last thing, what's your routine before you
bedtime?
Sleep?
So I have it's always evolving, but my routine is I try to end my day with a couple of things, right? So as a health coach and as a spiritualist, I think one of the things that we always try to do is continuous growth is something that's us, because it's not a destination for us. It's a journey. You never get to a level where you say, I have attained the highest level. No, it never ends. You
mastered my
You're always growing, right?
Yeah.
So every morning I say to myself, okay, I want to be the best version of myself today, or I want to be better today than I was yesterday. At the end of the day, I look back at my life like a movie, right? So I ask myself 5 questions. I ask myself, 1, what did I do well today that I was really happy about?
Y'all take note of this. Right? The 5 questions you need to ask yourself at the end of the day. I like this. Let's go.
So what did I do really well and I was happy about?
That's number 1.
Number 2, where did I fuck up? What did I mess up at? If this was a movie, looking back at it, like, when was the lowest point of this movie, right? And how could I have done better? Number 3 is, what happened today that I was grateful for, right? And number 4, what new thing did I learn today that I can use in my life? And the last one is, what is the biggest thing I have to do tomorrow when I wake up? So that's how I end my day. So I basically do a replay of my life that day, see where I messed up or where I did well, and then next, so I could not make that mistake again. So, and the goal always should be the best version of yourself every day. It's not easy, but that should be the goal. And that's how I end my day.
Yeah, that's like the 4 agreements. Always do your best.
Exactly. And then I either read for 15 minutes or I meditate for 15 minutes, either or. So.
No, that's beautiful. I like it. I'm gonna apply that. I'm gonna try to do that. Absolutely. The 5 steps before I sleep.
And again, you could make your own steps if you want to make it. If you want to add something to it, or if you want to say, you know what, I'll just do 3 for now. It's completely okay. That's my rule, right? And you can make your own, but make it something that's gonna fuel your personal growth. be better, than you were the day before. So that's it.
That's beautiful.
If you do that, then, trust me, you will start noticing things about yourself that you will not pay attention to. You start saying, fuck, I fucked up 3 times today. And it's okay. Just think about, even if you messed up that day, don't focus so much on where you fucked up, but focus on what you learned and what you could have done differently. Right? That's what's important, is what's the key takeaway. And then the next time it happens, you will, next time it happens or it's happening, because you did a recap, something in the back of your head in that moment will say, hey, this is the thing you're not supposed to be doing. Remember that? Remember that was what you told yourself? So you basically are checking yourself constantly, right?
Holding yourself accountable.
Constantly. And that's what it does. You're holding yourself accountable every single day. And here's what's going to happen to you now, right? One day you're going to wake up and all those bad habits, those low points, they won't be happening anymore. One day you wake up and you'll be a different person without even realizing it.
Just off of holding yourself accountable.
Just off of doing that routine every single day. That's how a change happens. It's just
doing that ritual. I'm calling it a
ritual. Doing it every day.
Yeah.
And grow and continuously holding yourself accountable.
I like that.
And being mindful of what you're doing throughout the day while you're doing it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So before we end, let's talk about these events that you have coming up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I am a holistic health coach. So how I help people, basically, like I was saying to you, is I help them through to change their lifestyle or their nutrition. So I work with you one-on-one. I meet with you every week and over Zoom or whatever. I even consult you. Hey, I'll give you a cabinet audit. I'll take a look at what's in your fridge, what's in your cabinet. Okay, you shouldn't be eating that. Here's an option. Maybe you're shopping and you're like, oh crap, what do I eat? I need someone to help me figure this thing out. That's where I come in. I'll help you to figure this thing out. Maybe you want to get a meditation routine. You want to get options for how to be, just whatever it is in holistic life, I can help you with that. And it's like I said, it's not a quick fix, but it's a simple fix to change your life. So, and what I have coming up is I do retreats as well. So I have a health retreat coming up in Costa Rica in November for 7 days. And it includes everything included: meditation, yoga, in nature, in private cabins, and hot springs, spas, is transformational classes. So I have that coming up in November.
You said in Costa Rica, right?
In Costa Rica.
Oh, yeah, so that sounds like the move.
So you fly to Costa Rica, and then once you get there, we take care of everything. I'll give you the link to my website. So if anyone's interested.
Drop the website. What's the website?
So it's basically vitaltrial.com, www.vitaltrial.com. When you go in there, click on retreats. You could put the link in as there as well.
I'm going to put it in the bio for you guys.
So that's the other thing that I do is I do health retreats. And then
something about a master class, right?
Oh yeah. So I am doing a master class right now. It's a free master class on how to optimize your mental health. All right. So it talks about the 6 pillars of mental health, how you can strengthen those pillars, what you might be doing that's hurting those pillars. And we also have guest speakers there who'll be talking about, sleep, hormone health, fitness, meditation. And we also have a guest speaker from the U.S. military who's talking about, how the military gets peak mental health, maintains peak mental health with soldiers. So it's a lot of awesome speakers.
And when is this?
It's going to be in June 10th. So it's like 5 days, but it's just 1 hour each day. So if you come to the masterclass or if you sign up for it, we'll be given a special of 15% off for the retreat if you come to the masterclass.
Is it in person or is
it's online?
Okay.
It's online.
I think you said that.
I'll give you the link in as well. You could put the link in the bio so you could sign up for the masterclass. It's a free masterclass. There is no cost. And the stuff we teach you is stuff you could do for free. You don't have to pay anyone to do it. So it's all about healing and yeah.
He giving away free stuff, and I know y'all like free stuff, so you might as well tap in. If you are trying to take your health serious, this is the thing that you want to get in tune with. This is the frequency that you need to follow right here. Yeah. Where can the people reach you on social media?
Yeah. So
we gotta get them right, man.
I gotta get on Instagram. I just got on there, but I have. I'll be starting to post regularly. next week. And then
I'm holding you to it.
yeah.
What's that Instagram?
The Instagram, so it's Vital Triad. That's it. Vital Triad, that's it. Health coaching. But I'll drop the link in there as well for you.
All right, we're gonna get all that.
All right.
We gotta hold on to you. Also, before we start, y'all know how I like to do it. I need one quote and I need a book. You gotta put me on a book. I know you've been reading something.
One quote. Oh,
I like the one you dropped earlier though. But if you don't want to go with that one,
okay, I'll give it to you. So here's the quote, right? It says, "Never wrestle with a pig, because you're gonna get dirty and the pig is gonna love it." So
break it down.
All right. So what that means is, like, don't fight with people who are ignorant, who are stupid, right? Because then you will sink to their level. You're gonna end up putting yourself in some stupid situations. They're gonna love it and you're gonna hate it, and you're gonna regret it. It's not worth your time or your energy.
Facts.
So don't wrestle with a pig. And I'm not saying to call people pigs, but
y'all some pigs. Nah, facts.
So that's the quote. The book. Oh man, there are lots of. So.
Be anyone you want, man.
Anyone I want. Oh man. So the book I would say this is gonna be for holistic health and healing. Goodness. It's called. No, let me think about this book. I'm thinking about this book.
It's okay, man. We got time. We're going to wait.
Oh, got it. There's a really good book that I've been reading since I was a kid. My mom gave it to me as a birthday present. So it's by a Black author. She's freaking amazing. If you haven't heard of her, you need to hear about her. Iyanla Vanzant. So the book is called Daily Meditations for People of Color. So this is not just a book. This is like a book where basically it has a message that you can read every single day of the year. And she draws wisdom from ancient African culture, Chinese culture, the Bible. Everything is in there, the Quran. But wisdom is wisdom. Doesn't matter where it comes from. But it's kind of like it gives you a guide or like a inspiration for the day. And every single day there is a quote that you could read that instantly wakes you up and does something for you. So I think if you are trying to go on this journey, that's a good book. That's a good starting point for you. So it's called Daily Meditation for People of Color. It's by Iyanla Vanzant. You could probably get it on Amazon for like, $10, $15, whatever. But it's good.
There you have it. So if you like this episode, if you enjoyed this conversation, make sure you hit that like button, the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell. And have your notifications on. Make sure you share this with your mama, your grandmother, your baby mama, your baby daddy, his cousin. It don't matter, man. Make sure y'all just share the love. And until next time, peace, love, and light. Big swim.
I'm on the way. I'm on the way. My vibration got too damn high. I got stuck in the